Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. 2013 Chevrolet, the 1500. It's got the big 5.3. Losing my game here for a minute. Money lights on. It's got a code for a small EVAP leak. I just did some preliminary driver's seat stuff with the scan tool, and it appears that it actually really has a leak. Fuel tank pressure sensor works. I can hear the canister vent valve opening and closing, and I can hear the purge valve working, and the purge valve isn't stuck open. So those are some quick things you can do from the driver's seat with the scan tool. And now that I see that and suspect that we actually have a real leak, let's grab the smoke machine and see where it is. Figured we could go through a bit of that process and show you that. We're going to throw a battery maintainer on this because we're going to have the key on. We'll pull the lid off the intake here. Set that to the side. We need to be able to get to the purge valve, which lives down somewhere at the bottom of this hose. We'll get our step here. I don't remember if these have a Schrader port on them. I don't believe that they do. Not that I see. Quick and dirty, when you start these things up and you're looking at scan data, before you touch anything, just go to your fuel tank pressure sensor data PID and start the vehicle. If the purge valve is stuck open, you'll see it start pulling a vacuum out of the tank immediately. If you want to know if it's stuck open just a little tiny bit, go in with your scan tool, close the vent valve in the back, and then monitor the fuel tank pressure with the engine running when you first start it, before the purge, kicks on. If all of a sudden the tank starts going in a vacuum and the purge isn't commanded on, then, well, your purge is bad. This doesn't do that, so that's kind of took me by surprise. Common leaks on these Chevys are canister vent valves not closing all the way, so they'll click, but they don't completely seal. And the other common leak we see is the fuel pump in the top of the fuel tank. So if they're a plastic fuel pump, the metal ring will get all rusty. It'll crack the fuel pump and leak there. We don't see a lot of gas caps because 90% of the time when a car comes in, it's already been to 3 or 4 other shops and it's already had 17 gas caps put on it. So I guess a potential leak is the gas cap. Well, let's see here. Let's see if we can get the purge valve unhooked. Probably not. Let me get a little screwdriver deal here. Here's a little screwdriver deal. Let's see. Is that not a push type? What in the world here? Oh, it is. You just push it from the wrong end. Oh, sugar. That's never happened in my life before. That's weird. You done just messed up, eh, Ron? Wow. I've never had that happen in my entire life. Never in my life has that ever happened. That's highly convenient. And by that I mean highly inconvenient. Try to get this other end unhooked down here. Thankfully, this is a quick connect down here also. That's super weird, right? I've worked my fair share of Chevrolets, but I've never had that happen. It broke the dang fitting. These are usually very, very resilient. That proposes a little bit of a problem because now we have to wonder, was this the source of the leak? Was this thing cracked a little bit? And we're just the straw that broke the camel's back? I mean, the hose here is kind of hard, but yeah, I've never broke one of these in my entire life. You've seen it here, folks. What do? Number 1, don't panic. Number 2, go get your Dorman fuel line repair kit. I've had this thing since the beginning of time, for a long time. Get out your knife. If your boss is coming, hide this part. We're going to take and Well, you just gotta chop it off here. Oh, I don't know if we'll be able to press a new fitting on that or not. This hose is kind of hard. Probably from all the exhaust. I don't know if that's a 3/8. Looks like a 3/8. We're gonna put just a standard 3/8, you know, quick connect. Let me look there. For some reason I thought those lines were 5/16. Let me see if this fits the line. It sure does. I'll grab a couple of these little blocks. Yeah, honestly though, I've had this kit forever. Back when I worked for my dad. So let's see. Oh, Napa guy was here. Help him for a minute. But yeah, I was saying I've had this thing forever. I had the same kit back when I worked for my dad. That's weird. This is bigger than 3/8 line. This may not work, but we're gonna give it the old college tries. This, yeah, it's interesting. Either that or this line is so stiff. So that was what? That was 26 years ago. 26 years. Back in 99. See, I don't know if we had it then, but we at least had it in the really early 2000s. I don't want to break one. I don't want to break this die. I'm going to squeeze it just enough to hold that line. Stick this on here. Put that on there. Oh, we probably should spit on it a little. We'll throw a little thrust on there. It's just got a good name to it. Thrust. Let's see if we can press that baby in. Oh, she's a little stiffy. Push, push. Nope. She's pushing it through the die. Which we don't want. But I don't want to squeeze it so tight that I break my die either. Probably should just use a new line. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. I know I'm going to be a little out of frame here, but just envision a guy pushing in on it while he's squeezing the handle. Hey, look at that. It went in. I didn't think it would. What do I know? Take that one off. Yeah, these are handy bits of kit. I've made myself a few thousand feet of fuel lines in the past. Not something we do a lot of anymore. Whoa! Man down. There's that. We'll put this away. Bing bong. We're right next to the bing bonger. Okay, there it is. Problem number one solved. Hopefully it was not our leak, because if we now hook it up and we don't find a leak, we're gonna be wondering, was this our leak? We may never know. At least now you get to see how a 5-minute job turns into a 25-minute ordeal. Or something like that. I don't know how the saying goes, but you know what I mean. I like to say things get stupid real quick. So that's gonna line up there. Let me come up here, give this little Chevy a hug. There you go, Chevy. All right, we're back to where we started. People are wondering, but isn't that line too short, Erico? No, they're quite long. I mean, you wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even know it. Then there's always the question, the big ethical dilemma. Are you going to charge your customer for that? I don't know. Would you have broke it if you touched it? Would have broke if anybody touched it? If the customer had the ability to fix their own car, would it have broke if they touched it? Yeah, you know what the answer to that is? Yeah, more than likely. It would have broke no matter who touched it. We're using our Easy Connect by Redline. It's a little bit of kit they give you, where that when you get it, it has a bunch of different size nipples and quick connects and T's and stuff in it for EVAP systems. It's as handy as a 2-pocket t-shirt. So we're gonna use this one. That's gonna click right in there. I like this little bit of kit. One of my favorite bits of kit. The Easy Connect by Redline. Think about that for a minute. And then, cover your eyes. Look at this bad boy. It's the Icon smoke machine, the new Avoca smoker from the Harbor Freight. Why did you switch smoke machines, Erico? Well, let me tell you. Harbor Freight sent me an email and says, hey, do you want a free smoke machine? I said, yes, ma'am. So they sent me one quite a while ago. Been using it, got no problems with it, seems to work fine. I do like it a little better than the original Avoca smoker because this one actually has a pressure gauge that reads inches of water, both in vacuum and pressure. I can't remember the technical name for a gauge that reads inches of water. I'll have to Google it, and then act smart. And then it has, you know, of course, our classic flow gauge. So, but it seems to work well. I don't know how much they cost. Google it. Is it a Magnahelic? Is that what it's called? The low pressure gauge, Magnahelic. I think they use it in the HVAC industry. All right, let's see. Let's make sure the smoke's rolling here. Yeah, so I've used this probably a few dozen times already. Don't really have anything bad to say about it. But it's a smoke machine, it makes smoke. Now that she's smoking, we're gonna hook her up. Hook that right there. Let it start filling the system with smoke. Let's get our scan tool. We're in the vent solenoid. We're gonna turn the vent solenoid on so it's not venting. Find our fuel tank pressure. Its pressure's increasing at a rapid rate. And then we'll watch our flow gauge over here on the smoke machine. So we're hooked to the purge, which is going straight to the tank, or to the canister, which goes to the tank, filling the whole system full of smoke. The vent valve, your EVAP vent solenoid, is the back door, which we've closed the back door, so the system, the whole vapor system should be sealed. And then our flow gauge should be coming down if the system was sealed. Like here, if I kink off the hose, see how the flow gauge goes down? Now, like I say, the code was for a small leak, but clearly we have a very large leak. Because let's see here, for example, let's turn off the smoke machine. Let's shut the airflow off. Okay, airflow shut off. Look how quickly the pressure leaves the tank. That's a pretty rapid loss. So 1.5 volts is atmospheric pressure on your pressure sensor, 1.4, 1.5. Okay, so we have a pretty large leak, let's be honest. So we're gonna let it sit here and just keep the smoke show going. Oh, it's smoky back here, boys. Oh, there it is, old son. Look at that. Enhance. Wait a minute, unenhance. See that, boys? See where she's wet up there? It's probably leaving. That's the beauty of the smoke machine too, it'll leave behind an oily dye. Yeah, that's a pretty bad leak. Don't mean to keep bumping the microphone here on you. Hopefully you guys can see that. So yeah, 1-2 barbecue, she needs a filler neck. Huh. Looks like somebody's been meddling up there before anyways. Got a classic open butt connector. Hose clamp. Oh, you know what? He took it in to have this frame welded up. Just FYI folks, that's what $2,500 looks like. There's a local shop here that does this. $2,500 to scab on a couple pieces of angle and actually do a pretty shitty job doing it. 2,500 bucks. Oh gosh. Yeah, when he told me that, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. But nope. A measly $2,500. Oh, yay, yay. Turned off. The smoke automatically turns off, so that's the red light there. It always has air flowing through it, which you control with this knob. And then this turns the smoke on and off, which turns off after a few minutes. It might say on it somewhere in the directions how long, but maybe 5 minutes or so, but most smoke machines are like that. We'll leave it at that, folks. We're gonna order the filler neck, get them back. I might have already said that. Easy find, especially with a smoke machine. Now, in regards to the oily trace it left behind, some smoke machines do have a UV trace oil in it, or an oil that has a UV dye in it. I don't believe that this one does, but I know like the old OTC leak tamer I had way back in the day, the great big jabroni, that was a big sale on it, you know, like, oh, this has UV dye in it, you know, which in most cases, when you see like that one had that oily substance left behind, you know, these work on like a mineral oil or baby oil or something like that. Usually when it leaves that much oil behind, it's a big hole. You can see it clearly, you know, smoke's boiling out of it, you know, perfect scenario. You know, this is how this machine works, and ta-da, here we are, found a leak. So the UV part at that point is kind of pointless because we can see the smoke. There are some instances though where, like, let's say you got a tiny leak, like it's between like 10 and 20 thousandths on the flow gauge, and when the flow gauge gets that low, I don't care what brand you have, whether you have a Redline, an Icon, you know, an OTC, a leak tamer, you know, whatever that you have, when the flow gets that low, the smoke is impossible to see. You know, you can shine lasers around, you can shine a super bright flashlight. Every once in a while you'll catch it, but usually when it's below 20 thousandths, you know, forget about it. I've used smoke machines for over 20 years, and that is the problem with all of them. And I think it's just because how they're made. Sometimes to combat that, what you can do is open the vent valve, let it really fill the system with heavy smoke, close it off, and then start looking for your leak immediately. Sometimes you can find it like that. But if you do have a UV trace dye in it, just let it flow for, you know, 20 minutes, you know, through that low leak, and it will start leaving a small oily residue around where the leak is, and then you can go along with your black light and usually find it, you know, or you can do, you know, the soapy water deal, or, you know, however you want to do it. But I guess that's the only advantage to having the UV dye in the oil. I don't know if anybody still makes that or not, but something to think about. And while you're thinking about that, think about leaving me a comment in that comment section. Questions, comments, Insta, Facebook, you guys know what to do. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.